So number 2 is self-confidence. Self-confidence, self-belief, and self-value are all very, very closely linked. So if you have someone that's that strong character or that strong personality that shows a sense of belief in you and pushes you, you develop a sense of self-value because you feel that someone's taking the time and effort to put energy into you, and that feels good. And then as they push you on to keep going, that forges the two other parts, which is the self-belief that you can actually do something, because initially it's someone that is saying, hey, you can do it, and they believe in you. So you take that with you and you push on, even though you might not feel it, but you can sense their belief in you. So you keep trying, and eventually you get there, and then that completes the trifecta, because you then get self-confidence once you do it. That self-confidence, self-belief, and self-value is a powerful, powerful thing to have. And it's something that if you are pushed by someone, it can be male or female, but as the topic of the podcast is male role models, I can only speak from being a dad and being as a male. I know that seems strange and old-fashioned in this day and age, given recent times. But look, I've stuck to the principles and it works. And I've seen the power of it in people who are young, old, confused, lost, not certain, little bit of doubt. It works across the board, especially if you give them guidance and push them on. So having that energy is something that I think is a really, really great thing to develop. So especially if you're a young guy out there and you're very good at something, helping the people that are not as good at it as you is very, very rewarding. So it's something that you should definitely consider doing when you get good at something, is find someone that isn't as good at it as you and help them along the way. So number 3, being around a strong character or a strong role model, particularly when men communicate. Men have a different way of communicating to women. And if you're a guy or you want to find out ways to communicate more effectively with men, there is no better way than to see how a strong character will engage with male figures. And not in the sense that there's a dominance, because that's not the way that it actually works. It's actually developed off a sense of respect. So being respectful and understanding that dynamic where you can allow respect to grow, and just watching how that interaction takes place. So a great way of looking at it is looking at influence. So if you're a strong character and you're wanting to interact with someone who is just as strong, you allow a space for them to interact with you and influence you with what they would like to do. And then you can come back and influence them because you've allowed that space to take place. And that's a great way of getting strong characters to work together rather than to bash heads. Because typically a lot of people think it's a case of, clashing heads together, and that it's really the winner that comes out on top that decides that. But actually what it is allowing the space for each other to have that sort of respectful recognition of each other's strengths and abilities, and allow that to take place. And what happens is that brings the guard down, and you respect and appreciate people's different skill sets that they have. And one of the best things that you can have, if you're a strong male and you're a strong character and you have another strong male who has a strong character, is combining those skills together. And one of the greatest things that you can do is watch how great male communicators do that, because what they do is they encourage a team. They build a team together, which will infinitely make the results and outcomes much more positive and much more beneficial, because there is that sense of strength and using other people's skill sets that maybe are some of your weaknesses, and they allow you to use your strengths. It's maybe some of their weaknesses. And what it does is it brings out the best in everyone. And we'll come on to it later on, but it gives that sense of belonging, because there's nothing more important than when you're in a team is to feel that you belong to that team. So taking strong characters and putting them together and making them part of a team is great. But what it relies on is the art of communicating very well and very effectively. So these are some of the traits that is very, very good to be around strong male characters, so that you can watch how it's done, because it's actually quite easy to replicate. And not just at the start, you'll replicate it, it might feel unusual, but what will happen is once you realize how this interaction takes place, you'll find it really natural to do, because the way that it works is that you're allowing each other's natural strengths to fill the gaps. And what happens is you find the strengths where you can fill in someone's weaknesses, and they can do the same for you. And it makes it a very, very, very natural way of creating a really good communication between each other. And a lot of the time it's non-verbal. A lot of the time you'll find that people will just automatically fill those gaps, and that's when you can see nature at work at its best. And a great place to do it is with strong male characters.